That's why we're doing this work. Yeah, I just wanted to start out with a reminder of why. This is our 4th class, and so we're officially 1 month through the 3-month container that we're in. And it's always good to remind ourselves as to why we're doing this, the intention behind the work. And it's this. It's basically just getting your attention very deeply into your operating system and your body, which is your vessel, so that you can make choices for yourself. And those choices are completely unique to you because you're living a very unique life experience that no one, not me, not anybody else, not your parents, not even your form of God, has that jurisdiction. It's really you in this lifetime picking and choosing out of the plethora of experiences that you could have here on this planet. And I want you to have as much information as possible as you do that. And I want you to have as much access to yourself as possible while you do that, because it makes the process easier and a lot more fun. And you can't slip into some QAnon bullshit in the interim. You can't be controlled. You can't be cajoled, so that you're a healthy individual as a part of a healthy collective. And that's really where we're at with these lower chakras, is just being with the reality of who we are as an individual and who we are as a collective. So we've had the Earth Star, which is the connection to our planet, and then the root chakra, which is the connection to our life, like the basics of our life. And then we've had the second chakra, which is the connection to our emotions and the beginning of kind of connecting to the other in community. And now tonight, we have the third chakra, which is our connection to our self, our self-confidence, self-esteem, our vitality, our doingness, our personal power, the way we metabolize energies, the way that we create and destroy and have an effect on our physical world. It's literally sort of our physical effect. And so I'm really excited. The third chakra is one of my favorite to be with. So if you've been noticing some dragon ass vibes, if you've been noticing some slower energy frequencies, now you're going to start the picking up process. That always happens when we go chakra by chakra, because those lower chakras really they're denser, they're more mass, they're just thicker in that way. And it's not always how we're used to functioning, which is why I like the challenge of going week by week and just spending that time with each chakra, because it'll give you the vibe. And I've also really been present with that desire that I think we all have as facilitators and teachers and whatever, to give you work to do. But I've been reminded of this, and I want to remind you of this too, that it's really not about the doingness. It's really about what's the quality of energy through the week. What do you notice about these themes? What is primarily your vibe that week? That's the info. That's it. You don't have to go digging really any deeper. You don't have to pull up the floorboards. You're in this class, you're doing it. And as another reminder, this is a container that you just get to receive. There isn't this hyper focus on the doingness of something. You're in it, so let it work for you. Receive the information without having to do too much. It's weird, my Siri keeps popping on. They're listening. Okay, yeah, that was really something that wanted to come out for us, just to relax and let it happen. You're going to go through the next 2 months. There'll be times where we're sitting in different chakras and you're sitting with different realities, and you'll kind of want to hyper do. And especially as we head into the third chakra, which is about doingness, you're going to get a chance to see what's productive doingness and what's stress that came from before that maybe doesn't need to be the way that you function anymore. So just a friendly reminder that you're in it, you got this, you're doing it. And then the body focus, I'm so excited about this because it's just such a beautiful healing. It's almost like the upheaval, that's probably the wrong word, where the healing is a lot of the themes of the chakras that come up. But I just kind of wanted to pull focus and chat really quick about how's everybody's body doing. I'm definitely having a psychic cleanse on a body level, and it's really beautiful. It's coming off in layers. I'm really connecting and accessing all of my info. And I'm excited to sit with you tonight on one of my favorite subjects, which is the bones, ancient wisdom there. But I wanted to hear from you guys, or just get a temperature read on how your bodies are doing, and what's real for you around that. Have you noticed anything different?
There is definitely a slowing down between root and the second chakra. I was like, I need to move immediately. And then once we got into the second chakra, it got really slow, really sticky. And I was just like, okay, wait, there's still some stuff to like uncover here. Maybe I need to slow down. And simultaneously, I'm feeling like my most sexy goddess and also like sloth.
Cheers, girl.
Yeah, so that balance has been really interesting because some days I'm just like, yes, I am everything, and other days I'm just like, I'm so broken, I don't understand. Like, here's my orgasm, I can't find it.
Yeah.
And that's been real. There was like a new layer of trauma that was just like, hello, let's address this. But I was able to keep that like upper vision of just like, okay, we're safe. A lot of like opening of the eyes, nervous system regulation, like, where am I? I'm safe. It's okay. I have control here.
Yeah.
So it's moving quicker in process, but the outer life stuff is definitely slowing a lot. Yeah. And that like non-attachment to be like, well, I know a change is coming. I know I'm changing. I know I'm open to this, but I'm not going to try to put parameters on it because I don't know what's best right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for this week. I really feel you on everything you were saying, as per usual, but I do think the second chakra, for those of us that are water signs or heavily watered in your chart, and also very empathic as a person, the second chakra can be brutal. Like, it's not that like, oh my God, I'm moving, I'm a goddess, I'm like having my best life. Like, the second chakra is kind of a hot mess for everybody. Emotions, like, are people handling their emotions well? No. So we have this picture of how each one of these chakras is kind of supposed to express, or maybe our highest version of it. And one of the cool things that gets to happen is we get to really see where we're at around that. So if that's our goal, who put that goal there? Is that our picture? Does that work for us still? And if it does, what are the steps now between here and there to get your second chakra? What is going on from Siri? Girl. To get that chakra to move along or move into a space that you would like to explore. And I think instead of kind of like jamming on the steering wheel, it's more like a collaboration. I have to come. Hold on one second, you guys. Something's crazy. Can you hear me like this? Okay. Okay, cool. Good. Then Eric can hear everybody too. Anyway, yeah. So it's even in our improvement, there's that desire to just kind of see where we got that from, and then to be with our unique processes, how we go from more of a maybe scattered energy emotionally, maybe that sloth energy. I definitely felt that last week. I was like all sorts of a water being, just like a water slug. And into, okay, so what's the new picture? So that's exciting. Anybody else? How's your body? How's your sweet, beautiful meat suit? Is it all meat stick like? Is it juicy? How's it going? Is anybody feeling pain? Any pain issues coming up? Yeah, don't be afraid to talk about that. We don't need everything to be like so perfect.
So last week I talked about how like my right shoulder was like in such pain, and I just feel like it's been distributing throughout the rest of my body. And so I feel like kind of a little bit of pain everywhere, but it's like, it feels like it's moving and balancing and like coming out, but in this roundabout way, and like hitting all of the other places in my body. And I'm just like wanted to be in nature and like hug trees, because it just feels like, yeah, and like touch the ground and be on the ground and just be in the water. And there's been a lot of like external things going on, but like of a very slow nature too. And it's just like feels like it's matching this movement of like the pain that's been there for so long, like into new spaces, so that like the rest of my body can support it, it feels like. So yeah, it feels good, even though there's like still pain. But yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you. Man, thank you for sharing that. It's just so cool. My intention as a psychic was to bring the somatic to the online world in a safe way and do psychic work from that somatic perspective. And listening to you talk about it, I'm just like, oh my God, we're doing it. We're doing it. That's it. This is what I would describe to people when I had bodywork sessions with them. I'd have to tell them, like, listen, of course, now your right is going to hurt. Now your mid back's going to hurt. Now your hips are going to hurt. Now your feet are going to hurt, because it's starting to unravel and move. So, man, that was just really meaningful, like on a life work level, to hear that. Thank you. Maggie added, my body's feeling a slowing down as well, like I'm moving into a soupy void before my body transitions into this third trimester. Not sleeping well, feeling like I'm trying to intellectualize and think myself out of the pain and discomfort, pregnancy related and otherwise. There's a big stew brewing for sure. Weird body image issues keep surfacing. Super yuck. Maybe it's a cover for something. Yeah, we're sitting in that second chakra soup, and it's not comfortable. It's not. Again, everybody's like, oh my God, it's in my second chakra. It's just not the reality. There's so much to unpack there. Thank you, baby. That I'm glad that you guys are just having the experience and having the honest realness of these lower chakras. This is why none of us ever want to be in them. This is it. They're not fun. This is ancient human pain from not being able to be present with whatever's happening in our bodies in the moment, where we just couch things and just like stuff it away because we can't handle it in the moment. This is the stark reality of doing that every time and maybe not unpacking it fully. It's sobering work. So big hell yeah for me. Sammy said lumbar pain. That makes sense with the second chakra. Danielle or Nicole says, yup, just a yup. I love it. Matching blisters on with both of the bottoms of my feet at the heart point. Literally couldn't walk. Wow. Been sleeping a lot more. And oh my God, the pooping. I did that 17 times in 4 days. Releasing, sleeping, going inside, hiking really slowly. I love hiking really slowly. Thank you, Daniela. Sex bombing, also oming, and breath work have been super juicy. So you guys are just having a second chakra week. Lumbar for me too, which I've never had before. My womb space, Chelsea, womb space is still going through it. I've had a rocky mental health weekend and held my pain in a way I haven't been able to before, and I was able to realize its centralized physical location. But of course, the womb. Yeah. Okay, that's all a success as far as I'm seeing. Well done. And this week is going to feel really good because we're going to start moving that energy a little bit more. We're going to start metabolizing that energy. Once we get up into the upper chakras, you're going to be like, oh, okay, here we go. Because we're so used to being up here. This is really where we all function. This is where we're like masterful. And so the calamities will be different up here. But down here, it's just very real body stuff. And thank you for working through it. Thank you for just getting in that body and seeing what's what. We've got one more week of that in a more pointed way before we move on to the upper chakras. So let's get into that third. Would you go ahead and close your eyes, get your body cozy, maybe have like a temper tantrum for a minute, just like a nice, easy temper tantrum. Stamping feet, pounding fists. Just let it out. And being with whatever you're feeling right now in this moment. What do you feel? Both in sensation and in emotion. And just acknowledging all that juicy information you got, you are repairing your relationship every time you do this with your inner world and the language of your body and spirit. So it's strengthening every time. Would you allow yourself to just root down into your planet beneath you in whatever way feels real today? You do you. You get nice and rooted and connected. And once you feel rooted, would you also begin to say hello to the cosmos from the other end of your spectrum? You are more than just a body on planet Earth. There is a whole universe that you are also made up of. Would you say hello to the heavens and begin to let that neutral cosmic energy meet and greet and dance with your earth energy moving through you? And I want you to be in a level of forgiveness and neutrality for wherever you find yourself during this next part of the process. But I want you to just pull your energy into the core center of your body where you've got your personal 7 chakras. And I just want you to let the earth and cosmic move through there. Let's go ahead and receive. And as you journey with that earth and cosmic energy and you let it work for you, I want to remind you of something incredibly important. But I'm willing to bet that at least for the past couple thousand years, no one in your family has deliberately done this. No one has deliberately focused on their energy centers and used the elements of the world to heal. We've been disconnected from this for a long time. So if you ever find this particularly difficult, would you just give yourself a big hug because you're doing something that really has not been done? And then when you're ready, would you say hello to that beautiful 3rd chakra? Right there in your solar plexus. Feel free to begin to palpate, squeeze it, push on it, hold it, and let yourself interact with the part of your body that houses your 3rd chakra. Would you get a beat on the vibe in that space? What is the energy? What's the color? If you can see that, find that. And would you just kind of read the energy for yourself? If you had to give this chakra 3 adjectives, what would it be? Beautiful. That's some good info there. Now, the 3rd chakra, its element is fire. And I didn't start learning how to build a fire until late in my life. But one of the key elements of fire is oxygen, it's breath. So would you begin to breathe into your solar plexus, and would you let that energy center build some fire? And notice the sensations in your body as you're doing this. Those of you that have fire sign elements and fire sign energy as a teacher in your chart in this lifetime, this one's for you. This is it. This is your chakra. I'm going to read the themes again, just so you can be present with it. This is the chakra of doing. So would you just have a listen in psychically with yourself around your habits, thoughts, belief systems, vibes of doing? What does that mean to you? Would you notice any limiting things, any expansive things? So what's the truth in there for you right now? A lot of cultural programming about this one. Yield, doing this, productivity. Would you allow yourself to have sort of a mix of meditative think slash maybe a little meditative writing on this? Just do a little brain dump if that feels good to you. Get present with some of the pictures in this space. Notice what's working and what's not around your doing this. Find all the cultural programming, flip it off, or blow it up with your fire. And we do all this to just name it and see it and notice how we would like to do it. So would you find a space once you're done dumping out a little bit? Would you find a curious space of how you do and accomplish? It's also completely legitimate if you can't find an answer to that, because the cultural programming is thick. There's almost no other pathways. So it's okay if you can't immediately answer that. You're actually building pathways for future generations to not have to choose capitalism. Just to put a little asterisk on that. But just leave the space open for your flow. And then checking in on what you guys like doing. What's fun for you to do with your body in this lifetime? And whenever you beautiful psychics feel like it's time to float out and come back into collective space, come on in. The water's fine. And then in whatever way feels right to you, share away. Let us know what happened. Solidify the experience with collective validation. Looked good. It looks like you guys are really moving through some stuff there. Get into some things. Again, this is not an easy one. The third chakra has been incredibly, like I could go into a whole conspiracy theory tin hat moment about it on a psychic level, but the third chakra has been controlled. Each one of these has its own kind of little goblin, and the third, I think, is exemplified by this idea of toxic capitalism. There's just this unchecked, endless expansion with no season of death and no seasons. It's just endless expansion, which is really this like sort of like hyper kink from the masculine. Nicole said, I felt really a real sloughing off of some pain I've been in around an incident with my mom. Nice. Nice. Beautiful.
I've found that I have a couple years ago when I started this love, sex, and relationship training that Daniela and I did together, I kind of discovered this inner persona in my third chakra space. It's like an inner drag queen that's been wanting to like burst out. And I've been wanting to change my name since probably before I was born. And in recent years, I've been wanting to change it to Viva, which is so far out there because people are like, is that even a name? And also just to be a mother of 4 and a former nurse and all this stuff, and then suddenly want to be like Viva Vautier, like, but that's where she resides, and it's ultra fiery and fierce and feisty and like all of these things. And I feel like that's such a powerful source of energy. And like, I felt like really just lit up and empowered there because I feel like I have a lot of Sag in my chart, but I also a lot of Virgo, and the Virgo like rigidity and like need to control and being like ultra antsy and drive everybody the fuck around me crazy.
Well, yeah.
Like, I feel like that takes over, like, and it's not fun. And like this is where it's at, is like the third chakra. And I just kept hearing like in terms of like action, it's not what you think it is. Like, it's like approaching action. It's not at all what you think it is. Like, it's not this fine line checklist. It's not following like what other people have like done before you that they say works for them.
It's never
like,
that. Just so you guys know, flip notes, it's never that.
It's like getting into this like wildfire energy that's just like explosive and contagious, and like maybe contagious is not the right word, but like it's just this energy that just like catches like a domino effect and just goes. And it just felt really good to drop into that today, because I've been like off like somewhere the fuck else that has not been fun. And I'm like, thank God for this like drag queen persona. It's just like, let her out. So
I think it's really interesting. Beyonce is a Virgo, and she's got this alternate character, Sasha Fierce, that she moves into. I think when you're journeying with an archetype like that is about structure and form and like just, which Virgo is interesting because it's mutable, so it is flexible, and it's Mercury ruled, so it's even more flexible. So there's like this invitation to channel in that sign. But I think it's our misinterpretation of so many of these signs and what they're capable of in their wildness that kind of controls them in a way. And so sometimes the ones that have more permission, because culturally we acknowledge that Sages are just like extra and there's so much, which a lot of the Sages I know aren't. They're chill. They're like really mellow. So everybody, however you get your permission to let this stuff out, I'm glad that it happens, because we need each part of ourselves. And kind of going into next week's theme, we're going to be talking a lot about the ego. But I knew it would come up because I was like, if we're breathing, which is the ether right here, we're breathing into that third chakra, all of our ego stuff is going to begin to light up and continue on next week. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Thank you.
People are adding beautiful things. Sammy said, I was able to have my humor as I was transforming, manipulating / exploding hard work energy into an open road for myself. That's so good. That's what I mean by, we don't sometimes have the answers, but we can at least open the gateways, right? And just be like, I don't know, but I'm available to know. I'm available for this new way that maybe no humans really know about yet. I'm available to know this. So I love that. That I have a nice way of transforming what is old and doesn't work for me into art, which is very stimulating and fun in that space. Love it. Daniela. Gary Vaynerchuk came in and was yelling at me, you don't have to do anything. Stop doing, stop rescuing. I saw a really good thing with him today too, and he put me in that same vibe. He's probably the reason that I had that moment where I was like, I gotta tell them that they don't have to do anything, that they can just be in this container. He was running around starting these little fires and then would stare at me like, what are you going to do, girl? This is not your fire to put out. Focus on your own fire. Oh, shit, I love that Scorpio. And then it shifted to armor around my belly, melting through our own inner fire. And then I heard female voice shout, no outside fire will fuel your belly, stoke your own. That seems to be a theme with us tonight, is that it is this regenerative energy that's so important. Sammy added tribal dance as well, around a fire with big open sky, very carnal. I love dancing. That's the fun part of that my body likes. I love fire as well. Libra sun, Gemini rising, Leo moon. Happy moon season. Yeah, happy fire season to all your fire elements, you guys. This is a good one. Also, I'm putting this out there for the future. As soon as all this stuff is done, I'm going to have numerous opportunities to come into the woods and just do this kind of stuff. Just hang out, dance, make food, talk until whenever, and sleep and swim and hike and do all of this, because that's the stuff that we're missing, is that connectivity. Okay, Kiara said, for me, I really struggle with beating myself up over inaction and what I previously deemed as a lack of motivation. It just dawned on me that I naturally use my inaction as a springboard into action with periods of high energy and low energy over time. Hi, I work this way too. I am a sprint and sloth person. I sprint. And I've had to really deprogram that with this work. With this work a lot. Because there are these things that I'm capable of doing in a very short amount of time. It's like I can get out a year's worth of work in like 3 days and then don't bother me about it for a year. My assistant's like, have we gotten anything done? And I'm like, probably not. So I feel you on that. And also there's a slingshot element too that some of you might be really functioning with, where you kind of like hold yourself back until you like froth up a really good like foam, and then you shoot really far really fast, and you get to decide whether that's something that still really works for you or not. But that is a thing that I see with people a lot, and I just want you to not have any judgment about it and just kind of explore how your vitality functions, knowing that after this week it might change. Amanda said, it was unexpected, but I saw myself in a cave temple as a cave temple monk, and found such a sense of peaceful power in the beingness instead of the doingness, and it looks calm on the outside, but is actually quite fierce. Yes. Exactly. My hair is clean. Leo moon here too. Yay! You can tell. Look at the hair. Leo daughter turning 30. Oh, sweet girl. Amanda says, as a Virgo sun, Leo moon, it's been this balance of inner fierceness and a calming down of doing and seeing structures in a different way. It's like the beautiful structure of a snowflake or a flame rather than the structure of a to-do list. I just want to read that for the rest of my life. I feel like that is Such a healing on the Virgo element in general. Thank you. I do think it, when you take the blinders of our cultural pictures around everything, especially doing this, but astrologically, we can talk about it from that perspective too. When you take off those blinders, it's like she can really give her gift. He can really give her gift. They can really come out and give us what these things are really about, and not this kind of like short form. A lot of the stuff we know about astrology was back from when people were not this conscious. And the most exciting thing is watching people in their 20s really take to astrology and tarot. What they're doing is they're giving permission for the elements. We're all giving permission for the elements to mature. And I also want to say hello to that a little prematurely. We'll do this in the 7th chakra, but every time you interact with a god or a goddess or a deity or whatever, like, they're maturing through you. It's a two-way street. And so every time you interact with something and you bring your brilliant psychicness to it and your permission in a human form to evolve, you add so much to the conversation. And so again, this pulling focus on, we're changing things now for ourselves, for sure, but this really is a game of, it's a long game. It's a slow burn. Some of the stuff that you're doing right now, some of the things that you're sitting with won't come to fruition for years, decades even, lifetimes. Is good. We just gotta love the game, as Gary Vee likes to say. We just gotta love this game so much that we keep coming back to it. We keep coming back to ourselves. Tara said, stuck, scared, saturated. Those were my 3 words. I saw your face when I was like, what are the 3 words? I'm like, God, I wonder what they were for her. Those are my 3 words. I've been working through the Gladiator Joan of Arc energy. Such a good one to let evolve, right? Like, it's so good and so strong, but it can get so easily co-opted in a way. Shifting to regenerative woman. I'm so scared to fully embody her. The programming is real. I would give her a lot of protection. Like, let Joan protect her. That's who she's there for. And that might be more comfy. But I understand when these archetypes are coming out, or these aspects of us are coming out, they can feel very unsafe because they literally have been. They don't know that these other parts of you will protect them. So we never do away with any of the parts of self because they're there for a reason. We just actualize them. Pasha said, I had a Christina Aguilera Still Dirty review in my head and felt like I was nodding out, short-circuiting almost. The work I've been doing on my health has gotten me to a new place of vitality that is unknown to me. That's beautiful to hear. So I'm not sure how much fire I have to give, which makes every day feel experimental energy-wise. Cool. I bet that can be frustrating, but that's really beautiful. Jupiter and Leo, Black Moon, Lilith, and Sag, nice, are calling hard, but the body is hiking really slowly. Yeah. So let's talk about vitality, because that's the next one on the list. What we're going to do is just say hello. We're going to give ourselves a healing with our own vitality. So we're going to look at the energy of our highest version of vitality, and then we're going to pour that shit all over ourselves. We're going to pour it into our bones, into our blood, into our cells, and certainly into our 3rd chakra and energy centers. And then we'll go from there. We'll see how we feel. Go ahead and close your eyes. And just allowing yourself to have this next meditation really, truly for you. And now that you know what we're doing, feel free to mute me, honestly. If you want to just journey on your own without my voice, do it. Otherwise, I'm going to be here. Get the party started. Would you pull your energy and attention into the center of your head? And just really breathe in. Get that energy into the center of your head. Clear out the snot. And as you move into the center of your head, just roll your eyes gently in and up, and that'll put you right smack in your pineal gland, 3rd eye. That's yours. You own that. It's not owned by Facebook or Instagram. It's not owned by your bosses, and it's not owned by your parents. If you've been place holding anybody there for your vision, would you let them off the hook? Let them know that they can tend their own fire and their own vision. And would you ask to see your highest health color around vitality? And notice how that's coming through for you today. Give me a little nod if you have it. You got it? If you don't have it, would you just make it up? Pick a color that feels vital to you. It's like, fuck the haters, make it up. And trust what you're seeing. And then begin to just bathe yourself in it. Pick it up, smear it on your body, breathe it in, cascade it down from the heavens, shoot it up like a psychic colonic, whatever works. And just notice how your body's feeling with that color. Do you feel vital? Sometimes when we add highest health frequencies or the highest we can get to, the bats come out of the belfry a little bit. So if you feel like just falling out of your skin and nodding off, that's the energy coming out. That's that sluggishness. Let it go down your grounding. Ask that it goes down too. Sometimes it's about being intentional. Really being like, no, I do want my vitality, thank you. And you might find some folks in here that are very threatened by your vitality. That's okay. They're just scared of their own and really wanting to control you. We love them. Would you send them back to their own energy? Moms and dads can really be found in the third chakra. Or you might find some people that you really want to control in this space. Not always the victims, friends. So if you have a child or a partner or a work friend or somebody that you got maybe a little bit enmeshed with, you can say hi and goodbye, apologize for getting a little too codependent. It's not right. It's the only framework we've had for relationships. You're not wrong. But would you very strongly individuate today and be in your own vitality? And feel free to move, breathe, primal scream, whatever you got to do. All right, now that you've got everybody out of there and you're out of everybody else's third chakra, you've got your vitality rocking. Let's have a little meditative think, feel, chat with ourselves about self-confidence, self-esteem, and personal power. These are the three main health notes of the third chakra. When your third chakra is healthy, you've got self-confidence, self-esteem, and personal power. Just go ahead and have a little psychic assessment. How are we doing on that? What's been feeding your self-esteem and personal power? What's been sapping it? Just take note. By all means, have your journal out, be writing if you need to. Oh, the juicy cultural programming on this one too, huh? Oh, it's totally sick that I enjoy this, but I love the deprogramming of it. Let's just get it out. What do you notice about self-confidence, your self-esteem, and your personal power? Alrighty. So for those of you who are ready to come back into class space and share and hang out around this subject for a few minutes before we head into the next, come on back. So what kind of pictures, energies, themes were you noticing in that space? Anything of interest?
I saw the half moon like right outside my window as I lay down, and I was like, ah, perfect. And this peachy color, creamy peach white luminescence was kind of filtering in. And after I had washed myself with it, I felt the pastelness of it. It was a luminous color, but it wasn't vibrant. And then suddenly I got this like the inside of like a really good nectarine, like that dark red with the juicy orange. And it was like the nectarine bite. That's just the image I saw. And I was a soup on the floor, but
That's great. There are going to be times where you guys hit your frequency fences. It's not wrong. It's okay. It's where your body's like, it's had enough. And now the only way that it can process some of this density is by crashing out. So for those of you that have struggled, or you find a moment in class where you're like, oh God, it's okay. That's just let your body rest. You can always come back to the recording. But as long as you're in class and taking it in, the magic is happening. Yeah, thank you. I love those luminescent tones too, as the moon goddess energy, but I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like you get through those, and then there's like, especially in those lower chakras, there is this like deeper, richer, juicier, meatier, like colors that are more vital than maybe sometimes spirit colors can be. So I love that you saw that. Super validating. Sammy said, an attachment to the seventh, an old Catholic idea of being released to mother energy, then going deep into a space to clear these pictures out. At first, there was so much humor, and my tits were literally dripping in gold. And then after I felt that deliciousness, my body was ready, or safe and ready to go deeply. Nice. Yep, this is what this work does, and I want you guys to start to notice that there's these layers, right? You come into yourself, and it's a little chaotic, maybe it's a little loud, you clear some of that out. Earth and Cosmic helps a lot with that. Then you might feel a bunch of things, right? Like you might be like, I have this emotion, I feel really tired, I'm really whatever, fill in the blank. Then there's like sensations and emotions. And then you get below that surface level and there's thoughts. All of these thoughts that are moving around, and they might switch, right? Like you might hear the thoughts first and then the emotions get to you later. But normally what I've seen in people is it's like the chaos and then the emotions and sensations and then all the thoughts. And then you're in the deeper part of your operating system. And each one of those has a gift and has a purpose and absolutely needs your love and attention. Once you get into that programming space, you can really be like, oh, that's a picture. Boom. I'm going to leave space open for something new. Boom. The thing lands. When you get good at this, it's like there is a clip to it and there's a sort of like a science to it for you that's individuated to you that you'll get to understand each layer of your process on the way in. So thank you for illuminating that. That was awesome. And hell yeah, for dripping gold in the titties. Maggie said, I need for movement, a need for movement. To shake and move the energy physically as a way of cleansing out parents, in-laws, and general ancestral cleanse. Yeah, yeah. The third chakra. I might tin hat it, you guys. I don't know. Realizing what's holding me back as comparison and as a deep need for validation, which is fucking poisonous for my solar plexus. That competition energy, that is such a function of the third. It's also a function of the womb space. Both of those are a control. They're from ancient resource restriction, false resource restriction that we've been in, that we're still currently in. We're still absolutely living in false resource restriction. We're actually seeing the apex of it. It's a living nightmare. Here it is. And that has really messed with our third chakras and our ability to feel like we can be confident and provide for ourselves and put ourselves out there and be like our most fully expressed, empowered selves, because we're literally not resourced, like almost in any way. And I want you to think about that for a second. Like you getting here is on a totally, it's crazy that you can sit here and do this work considering all of the pressures on the lower chakras. Big pat on the back to everybody here. And everybody in this course. Realizing, blah, 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 like a Medusa energy that freezes me because I feel worthless if I don't get confirmation or approval of my worth. Thank you for illuminating that. And just really intending to let that burn away tonight, that need and desire to be validated elsewhere. Is just such that inner child need, and we love the inner child, but she can't run the show. You know, she's not qualified to pay the bills and to like further our careers, which is a lot of what the third chakra is about. It's that career energy, which, by the way, is why it's so controlled, because most people have their career just like life strawed into the back of their third, and they're powering other people's businesses, other people's dreams, other people's things. So if you've been part of the huge upheaval over the past 10 years of everyone being like, I can't work for somebody anymore. I got to do my soul work. I got to do this. I don't know. I'm not making any money, but I don't fucking know. I got to do this. This is what's happening. You're literally being cracked off from people siphoning your energy so that you power their thing in a model that keeps you enslaved. And you are beginning to find your confidence, self-esteem, and personal power so that you can power your own projects. I'm one of these people. You guys are all in this too. If you're artists, creatives, all of that stuff. How hard was it for you to break away and do your thing? Really hard. This is why. It's the energy in this space and the like thousands of years of employment trauma. Again, respect to everybody here. I got through a lot of chaos, thoughts, emotions, and under it was a lot of clarity that power / self-esteem is never what we are taught it was. It's a strength of nervous system, a stillness of just being me, and this feeling like literally nothing could take away that sense of power and strength. Yeah, man. Well put. It's all coming out of you tonight. It's great. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't say it any better than that. That is the deprogramming. Once you're like, oh, this isn't working. This is not my beautiful life. This is not my beautiful energy. I'm actually going to put myself number one in my own space. That's when all the shifts begin. Kiara added, when I was best providing for myself, I physically get terrible, and now I'm physically more in my body and healthier than ever. This is when my confidence to provide for myself is the lowest, when you felt terrible. Yeah, that's real. I am still paying off collections from the time that I started this business because I had to call all of them and be like, I'm sorry, I have to choose me right now. I got a divorce and started a business that my soul is telling me to do. Sorry, West Elm, you can just take your $1,300 and give it to a collection agency. Thank you. That level of being able to choose yourself does come at first, and it can come. It often comes with a bit of a sacrifice, right? Like stepping out of the current energies and the current paradigms and the systems and structures that keep us safe and really individuating into your own energy can be a rocky process. You don't need to subscribe to my picture. Like, go ahead and blow that up. You can move faster. I want you to move faster. That's why we're here. I want you to learn from everything that I've done and go quicker. But there does seem to be a bit of a sacrifice when you step away. And that's just how it is until you start filling yourself in. I laid on the ground for, I think, about a year, like literally just every day, to get the capitalism out of my system before spirit would let me be with you. It was like no fucking white programming, no competition, no capitalism. Get it out. Get all the stress out of your system. Get all of it out of your third chakra. And I was like, okay, sorry, West Elm. Sorry, rental agency. And I had to ask for a lot of help and a lot of grace, which is really good for our lower chakras, because there is this kind of predominant control energy, especially at the third, that's like, you can do everything yourself because this is the one where all the wars and all the individuated energy and all that white imperial, all that stuff, the isms and the stuff that's not working, it's all right there in the third. It's all right there. It's all the control structure you'd ever want to find. The other hot button is the fifth and the seventh. But the third is, God, it's thick with this stuff. So yeah, Nicole said, it took me until my early 50s. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. We need to hear that. Business is a long game, isn't it? And she's a creative. She makes jewelry for a living.
I do, but I think I may have said to you, I struggled for years going, I know it's in there, but where? I mean, it was a really painful thing because, there was a little bit of that, like, well, I'll probably never find it, I don't mean that in a victim-y way. It just wasn't obvious on the paths that I was going, but it happened.
It does happen. Thank you for saying that. I am excited to spend January and February completely focused on business and talking about all of this publicly and in classes, because I really feel like we need a deep deprogramming around doing this and around what it takes to be in business, and how much, God, you got to resource yourself, because it does, when we're focused in these particular pathways and we keep trying to push our soul purpose through those pathways, and the soul purpose is just like, no, I'm not doing it. You can really run around for a long time, not get into the thing, which feels really torturous. So I'm glad we're doing it faster. I'm watching 20-year-olds have businesses that are successful and in alignment with themselves, right? They're in alignment with those regenerative cycles. They don't have to be as tortured as we all were. And thank you, Nicole, for opening the pathways. This is a great example of somebody like me at my age can have the level of freedom I have because you did what you did.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I just want to say too, it's not that it was all bad. I mean, at all. I really, you know, I've done a lot of completely different things, and I don't regret any of it. And it's been very useful for me to have a business sense at the same time as being a.
Isn't it funny how it's like they all connect, right? Like this random thing you did, this one project or this one person you worked with, it's like 20 years later you go, oh my God, I needed that for that moment, or I needed that for this. But in the moment, you're not aware of it because you're just living your human life. Even as a psychic, like I'm getting tons of information all the time, and I deepen my relationship to my psychicness with these classes and with our containers, so that I get that info faster. But really, there's so much mystery involved in it. You're so right. So Sammy said, a few years ago, I listened to your chat on money with another psychic from Portland. Oh yeah. Who did I do that with? I don't remember. I remember you saying the bit about having to choose you. Deeply inspiring and totally new, Erin. Needing to buy myself flowers even if it's not on the budget. Yeah, those are the things I had to do. I had to have ample flowers, salt, cat food. Other than that, and some veggies. And other than that, I could really sort of make do. And it was so hairpin. You know, some of you guys are the ones who bought session all of a sudden. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I can make it another week. And I've learned how to be really scrappy, and I'm super grateful for that, because look at where we're at now. Now my business is in a much more secure place, but I know how to exist on $5. I know how to call a business and be like, hey, listen, I need grace. That was never something I knew how to do before. I didn't know how to ask for help. My third chakra was too like Taurus dad, you know, Virgo mom. So now that I'm through all that stuff, and you guys are moving through all that stuff with yourselves, that personal power can come through. It's really when you advocate for yourself in that way that these parts of you are like, oh my God, she's going to protect me. They're going to protect me from this stress. They're going to actually do the thing. So, all right, let's just eat some energy. Let's eat it up here. We're going to do some metabolism work around metabolizing energy, and just kind of seeing where you're at with that. You know, how fast are you metabolizing energy? How's that third chakra feel about metabolizing energy? Is there anything you need to know about that? And then we're going to pull some focus on the creating and destroying in the physical, because that's what the third does so well. If there are physical limitations, you can set that theme, that topic, that part of you on fire and let the alchemical fire of transformation move off anything really quickly. Fire cannot be underscored enough for its gift around this. And it's something that we're going to be working from here on out. We're going to be working with this ability to just light it on fire, take off the first couple layers of whatever's challenging you, so that you can get to the nugget and the information quicker. So go ahead and close your eyes. And just saying hello to that third chakra again. You're old pals now. And would you just take a little note by asking your third chakra, how are you doing with metabolizing energy? Maybe you make a scale of 1 to 100 just to give you some context so that your brain can understand. And for some of you, you might be moving really fast in that third chakra. Maybe you're metabolizing quicker than you can assimilate into other places. Take a note of that, how that feels. But for the most part, we get really sluggish in here. And that might be your truth, that it's a little more sluggish than you'd like it to be. In that case, would you go ahead and stir your third chakra up with your little psychic finger? Just let it go a little bit faster. If it feels too fast, you can just slow it down. But in general, your chakras function like a camera aperture. So they open, they close, they spin. Would you get it into the healthy zone there for you? And Elsa was asking, what kind of experiences do you mean by metabolizing energy? And that means whatever it means to you guys. I just want you to kind of introduce this concept to yourself in your third. But you can basically think of it as your digestion system. The third chakra is your digestive system. That's why your stomach and your intestines are all right there. So do energies hang out with you for a really long time and not transmute or transform? Is there anything that feels kind of stuck in your craw? Any topics in life where you're not moving forward or at all? And would you let the fire start to kick up with your breath? And instead of fixing, solving, changing anything in your mind's eye, would you just shoot your fire lasers at that topic and just let it burn away with no effort, without you having to do anything? Any energy that needs to be recycled in the body, it's just ready to go, old programming, somebody else's energy, and just toss it on the pyre fire of the third and let it metabolize. If you've been feeling puffy from the cortisol response of COVID or any other reason, if you feel like your physical weight is not budging in a way, would you allow that whole conversation to begin to metabolize in your third? Yet another ripe little topic of the third that is so controlled in our society, concept of weight and body fat percentages. Would you just let all that burn up in your space and find your truth? If there are any themes that keep popping up for you, thoughts that keep circling, would you allow them to be baptized in the fire, metabolized, and see if there isn't a deeper question there or a deeper thought? And one last thing, I'm going to pull more focus on this next week, but the third chakra is a place of our masc-femme balance. It's a huge gender marker in here. So, would you let those polarities be set on fire for yourself and really give them a nice cleanse? Maybe there's something about that polarity and that balance that you haven't quite gotten to yet. Maybe there's a healing that needs to happen there. Let the third chakra metabolize anything ready to go. Let the fire clean it out. And see what comes forward after that. All right, taking your time and allowing yourself to move back into class space whenever you're ready. Be gentle, take your time, take a stretch, take some breathing. All right. Third chakras and skeletal systems. That's what we're rocking with. We just did a lot of excavation, a lot of introduction, a lot of finalizing of things in our third. Very well done. And now I want to pull some focus for the last 22 of our class around the skeletal system. As a body worker, I am an absolute nerd over this system. It's my jam, much like the muscular system. We have 206 bones in our body, and each one of them is just really spectacular. And so let's get nerdy about it. Okay. Please. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so this one is a pretty easy view of what we have going on inside of our body. It's not going to label every single one, but it labels the most important ones. So again, just allowing yourself to take this in, associating it with your body and the way that your body looks on the inside, which can be a little trippy. To really think about the skull that's sitting in your head, that was hard for me in anatomy physiology class. That was a bit of a mind fuck. So yeah, just noticing any areas that pop out to you, any places that are needing your attention and love, or to have a little conversation with you. Maybe there's old broken bones and injuries that you've had before that you can just say hello to in the skeletal system here. I also wanted to bring up this guy. this is kind of a transition from our last one to now, just to give you some perspective. There's our bones, and we just came from our muscular system. The meat and the bones. Beautiful. So I'm going to be keeping this up and stare at it as long as you need to. And then when you're ready, would you just close your eyes and ask your bones what color they'd like to work with today, or colors. And begin to do your psychic work. There are 6 main functions of your skeletal system. It protects your internal organs, stores and releases fat, saying hello to that metabolism energy again, saying hello to those sweet, sweet fat cells, produces blood cells, stores and releases minerals, facilitates movement, and supports the body. So just checking in on that. It's doing a great job of protecting your internal organs, nailing it. Storing and releasing fat, just checking in on how that's going for your body. Is it getting enough? Is it getting too much? How's it doing with storing and releasing minerals? Is it getting enough? Does it need something from you? Does your skeletal system need you to nourish it differently? Or add something, subtract something? Asking your skeletal system how it's doing producing blood cells. Is that process a happy one, easy one? Is there anything you can do to facilitate any other health? Is it having a hard time anywhere facilitating movement? Does it need anything? Any places where you're feeling weakness or not supported? And would you let the wisdom of your bones come forward? What do they have to say? What do they need you to know? Your bones are the most ancient and most solid part of you. They're the most earth, mineral, rock-based thing you have going on. They house so much of your humanity and things that we've been disconnected from for a long time. So just acknowledging that we're going to take this week to really listen to their wisdom and learn from them. You will be talking to a lot of your ancestors this week. That will happen spiritually when you work with your bones and your skeletal system. You will find old patterns that you're keeping in your body that hurt. Would you make an agreement with yourself that you won't be flimsy in the face of sensation, but notice that it's energy, that it's here to speak to you, and that it wants your attention? That's why it feels. That's why it's showing itself to you. And then as you're ready, really gently allowing yourself to come back into class space. Has anyone ever deliberately worked with their bones before on a psychic level? You have? Right on. I'd love to hear from you. What do you notice with that work over time as you work with it, if you feel like sharing?
Was it me? Or I don't know.
Yeah.
So I've been working with the cranial bones for a long time. A lot of my focus is in there. So seeing like the larger map of all the bones, I was like, oh yeah, we have other bones.
Yeah, craniosacral therapists can get a little focus.
Yeah, because we have this beautiful butterfly bone in the middle of our head that mirrors our hips and our shoulders, and it's just like the seat of everything, and it holds your sixth chakra. So I spent a lot of time there, like physically clearing out tension, and then adding in the colors and being like, oh, okay, like let's make this a fun game.
Yeah.
And it's good, but it's still the upper chakras, so it brings you back into your body really fast. And for me, like receiving the work and then my clientele, when I was doing the work on them, like they were just in their bodies, they were knocked out for days. Like I spent years just like sleeping.
Yeah.
So it's faster now. And like during that, I was like going in, everything was green. I was like, okay, evergreen. And then I was out somewhere and it's like, okay, I need to sleep, but like,
Yeah.
okay. Whereas before that would induce panic.
Yeah. Right. In a capitalist system, you have to be doing. This is why the intelligence of the bones with the third chakra exists, because the bones are this like really ancient, really long growth period, and metabolite, like, and entering into the agreement of metabolizing maybe a little bit faster, and allowing your third chakra, when the energies come up, to just really get that like little fan going, and letting it metabolize those energies. You don't even need to identify them. You can just be like, whoa, I am super, whatever this is, go ahead and metabolize it. What do you need in order for me to do that? Cool, mineral water and sleep for 12 hours? Donezo, So thank you for bringing that up. That's exactly the connection between the third and the bones. Because when I first received the lists together, I was like, intuitively, I wanted to start moving things around as a body worker. And Spirit was like, don't you, you're about to learn some shit. Calm down. And I was like, okay. And that was what I got when I was like, what is the connection between the third and the bones? It's like, they're so old. There's so much ancient, crusty ass war and trauma and all of that stuff in there, that if you do it with the metabolizing and you just move faster with it, then you can get to your own truth and your own personal power around whatever subject you're dealing.
Mm-hmm. And to Maggie's point about this, like the sacrum calling, like that was the first bone that really called to me in my life. And it was like, whoa, okay. And like that is the first bone to form when you're in utero.
Oh.
And it fuses when you're like in your teens. So for a lot of people, that's a time of like really quick change, but like not a really stable foundation. So then as you're an adult and you're like, it's just wild. And then like being able to go back and do this work psychically, you can shift the story.
Yeah. And adding the psychic stuff to the bodywork stuff is just such a new layer of fun. Danielle said, ooh, the sensation is energy that wants your attention. Love. Yeah, that's it. That's all. Your body communicates in sensation and emotion. Sometimes I forget some of the most like impactful things because I've just said them so many times in class, and I'm like, okay, we're past this. But truly, the body communicates in sensation and emotion. That's your body's language. And desire. Desire is another one. The spirit communicates in color, thought, picture, energy, symbol, all of that stuff. That's your spirit communicating with you. But your body thoughts are kind of body and spirit. They're a little go-between there. But yeah, so whatever is coming up, and I know for those of you who have experienced chronic pain, it's a little edgy to be like, feel your feelings, because it's very disruptive sometimes to feel that. And I never, as a body worker, I hope you guys understand, I have so much compassion for that. And I have so much just relentless support around people who are experiencing chronic pain. But there's still an invitation to feel it and to acknowledge that it is speaking and that it has a language and that you can speak that language too. We've just forgotten about that. And so I've seen people get out of a lot of chronic pain by practicing this among many other modalities. Sammy said, a little bit through my acupuncture practice. Yeah, then bones. Bone breathing with visualization. Hell yeah. Ooh, that actually feels really good. Just that like respirating in and out of the bones. That's been a really big one for me during this training is the respirating with whatever energy I'm dealing with, especially in whatever body system we're in. So I was like breathing through my skin, breathing through my muscular system, just like really pulling it through as I'm breathing. And I let the colors change too. It's like, it's purple, cool. And I respirate with that for a while. I'm like, ooh, it's teal, weird. I don't even like that color. And I breathe through that. And, you know, Abraham Hicks said, 68 seconds of focus is 20,000 hours of doing this. So the third chakra is a really good indicator of that. I want you guys to be doing these like visualizations and working with color, because it does close the gap on so much of this programming that you want to clear through, issues, pictures, energies that aren't yours, that are yours from other lifetimes. You just move a lot faster when you allow your imagination to help you heal. And this is just one more week of us doing this. Anybody else? What else is real for you around this? Any questions, thoughts? We've got a couple minutes before we scoot for the night. Kitty. All right, you guys. Well, let's blow this pop stand. Go ahead and close your eyes one more time. And would you just let all the energy from class collect up into a big rose out in front of you? And what this is going to do is just take anything ready to go, anything that's overly stimulated, things that did or didn't get talked about, things that you understood, things that you nodded out around. It's all good. Just let it all collect up. Even let the rose collect up your growth period from the next week. Just begin to clear energy out from your week even. Let it gather up anyone who's coming for you on the internet. Anybody who's got something to say to you about you, would you go ahead and collect up their energy? And anything you're just kind of ready to take space from tonight and just relax outside of these thoughts or these themes or these habits, whatever it is. Let the rose work for you. Collect it all up. Stress about anything, just let it go. You're not going to solve it from the perspective you've always been trying to solve it, but it's never solved it. Just let it go. And then, in whatever way feels right to you, kaboom, blow it up. And would you be right there in your space with your bones and your muscles and your skin, all encased in your individual expression? Would you let that third chakra shine? Let it open up like the sun that it is. It's like a little ball of orange juiciness. Would you begin to let the self-esteem, self-confidence, and personal power radiate out around you into your aura? Would you let it leak into your organs, into your cells, saturating all of your insides, all the way into the fat of your bones, right in the core, the marrow, with personal power, self-esteem, and self-confidence? And would you let all your other chakras above and below begin to receive the healing of the third. And when you're ready, come on out. Enjoy your night. I'm here. If you need anything, I'll talk to you soon.